The Linux Foundation's LFN group has brought together vendors, service providers and users to redefine how networks are created. Arpit, what progress has been made within LFN to date, and how is LFN and its various projects contributing towards the next phase of network evolution?
That's a great question, and we have seen significant momentum in not only contribution in the projects, but the projects getting, a deployment-ready status. So, give you an example, projects like Open Daylight and OPNFV that are more than 3 years, of age, they've been in deployment since then, but some of the cross-project development and deployments is just kicking in high gear. There are a couple of very interesting demonstrations that are existing today. One of them actually includes Open Daylight and OPNFV that is going across and doing what we're saying, 5G, network slicing, software-defined radio connected to an OPNFV infrastructure using Open Daylight to create what is called a virtual central office. So it's a global test case, use case that we've demonstrated, and it's going to be in the releases coming up.
And what about progress on OwnApp?
On OwnApp, the most recent example that I can bring up is what is called CCVPN, or cross-cloud VPN. Companies like Vodafone, China Mobile, Huawei, these guys have huge data centers globally in multiple countries. And giving enterprise connectivity or VPN connectivity in these sites on a consistent basis with standard policies is the big challenge. And so what OwnApp has done, and the teams have done, is they created this demo that is going in the Casablanca release that will actually provide, global cross-cloud connectivity over VPNs. It's a very fantastic, powerful tool that makes the world come together in kind of one domain, if you may.
We're also hearing a lot at the moment about NFVI, and in particular how your OPNFV project can move it forward and create a common framework, I guess.
So one of the big decisions that is facing the industry is, it's great that we have all these projects. The good news is it's now coming down to a few that matter, which is great. How do we put them all together, and how do we know that they will work in our operator networks? That's kind of the question. So what LFN has done is we have expanded a program called OVP, or it's just an open validation platform, where vendors and operators can self-certify, and they can kind of guarantee that things will slide into their network, right? Now that program existed in OPNFV already. It was called OPNFV Verified Program, and we had a big following on that. We are going to expand that program to include ONAP and VNFs. So complete stack, and it's the entire ecosystem of VNF onboarding that will make it extremely easy, through a certification program that we will have.
You mentioned VNFs. I'd like to move on to this migration towards cloud native. What we're hearing now is this evolution of VNFs to CNFs. First of all, what are CNFs, and why is this important to us?
Okay, so first of all, 6 months ago we coined this term, right? CNFs, and it was kind of obvious to us that virtual machines and the whole journey to virtualization was, very important, and it's still important, but to have the true power of cloud, right, in terms of portability, containerization, and microservices, and blend that with the true power of telecom, high availability, reliability, scale, and bring them together is the most important thing that the industry is facing in the next 3 years. So what we did was, we have two foundations. We have the LF networking organization project, and we have the CNCF, or Cloud Native Computing Foundation, under the Linux Foundation. These two came together And through a series of projects in the technical community, we have come up with a migration path of taking VMs or taking some VNFs that are in a virtualized environment and moving them to a cloud-native containerized environment so that they can be portable across cloud, they can be simple, they can have less memory, all the efficiencies that come with containerization and microservices.
Is this a big shift in terms of logistics for what you do?
That's a big shift from an operations perspective, because now all of a sudden we are asking the telecom operators to think like a cloud operator, and we are asking the cloud developer community to focus on high reliability, high availability, dependability, scale. It's kind of unheard of, so I'm not saying cloud is not reliable, but I'm saying they don't architect for that. They assume that the higher layers of the network would converge and kind of get you the availability. But that's kind of bringing the best of both worlds, and that's kind of the challenge, right? The one thing I would like to point out is the vocabulary is very different between the two worlds. There are no networking concepts, right, in the cloud world. So things like IP configs or IP addresses or layer 2 or ACLs. I mean, we are used to geeky terms on the networking side. There are no such terms on the cloud side. So there are several projects that help in the translation of what they mean. Oh, you mean this? We call it network service mesh. Okay, and that is being done by FDIO and VPP, and there's a lot, those things are happening, but it is in a different terminology. So there's a little bit of a challenge, in language between the two worlds.
Well, Arpit, we shall look forward to seeing how this evolution continues, and we'll talk to you again in the near future. But for now, thanks for joining us on TelecomTV.
Thank you very much.